Hello and welcome to Aha Moments. This one is entitled Build It and They Will Come. And it was originally sent out on March 18th in 2024. So if you are on the list, then you would have got it by email at 8 a.m. Eastern, as does all of the Aha Moments come out. Every Monday morning at 8 a.m., we send out a little inspiration with an Aha Moment Monday. So if you're not on the list, get on the list, which is at humanapproach.com. And subscribe and check out Human You. Human You is our membership program, and that is where we have expanded conversations on all of these aha moments every Tuesday morning. And that's a chance for you to jump on and ask some questions. We'll chat personally on it, and we'll just spend a little bit more time on the conversation about what this aha is. And I love when people do ask questions and everything within that membership. It adds so much more flavor and so much more dynamic ability to the conversation. It's absolutely wonderful, rather than just listen to me speak. But if you did get the aha and you jumped on YouTube just to have a little bit more of an expanded conversation, then welcome. I look forward to it. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to read the aha, which is usually around 60-second read, and then I'm going to share just a few more tidbits about it. Okay, so it's entitled Build It and They Will Come. Here we go. Let me just find it here. There we go. Okay. Are you heading to where you want to be? When asked what holds most people back in your industry from being successful, one of my mentors, Linda, responded, a paradigm shift. Interesting response. The answer to the missing success link that Linda observed, having worked with thousands of people, is that before they can apply their level of skill or desire or knowledge or affluence or take advantage of timing, they need first to shift their paradigm and look at things differently. We've been conditioned to believe that knowledge is power, and to be successful, you need to first have knowledge. That's a fallacy that Napoleon Hill dispels, and think of Grow Rich when he writes, an accumulation of great fortune calls for power, and power is acquired through highly organized and intelligently directed specialized knowledge. But that knowledge does not necessarily have to be in possession of the man who accumulates the fortune. So if you are clear on what your build looks like, you can create a systematic approach, and that you can recognize talent to create a powerful team. Where does the paradigm shift come in? Don't you just have to go after what you want? Aha, emotionally live as though the build is already complete. You will recognize Stephen Covey's statement, start with the end in mind, but the true meaning goes deeper. It's more than seeing the vision in the future and having a critical path to get there. The power is in first knowing that vision so that all of your thoughts and actions come as though your ideal is already in physical form. Neville Goddard writes in Awakened Imagination, man attracts what he is. The art of life is to sustain the feeling of the wish fulfilled and let things come to you, not go after them or think they flee away. If you attract what you are, then it makes sense as to why you write your goal statement in the present tense, and that you take ownership of having already created it on the first level of existence. When your mind operates in the present, separate from the goal projected somewhere in the future, you will always chase after that future. When you operate from the goal, from the desired state, you exercise a universal, creative, cooperative process. How does it feel to be such a gifted sculptor in the art of your life? Ooh, and many don't realize that we're co-creators. So I think that that's really important. First off, that we state that then I think what Neville Goddard was trying to say is that, if you are separate from the goal, if it's external, if you're wishing it or hoping it, or, I'd really like to do that, or I will, even if you say, I will do that, somehow you're projecting it. And so, that is the element of bringing yourself back into the present tense. Last night, I was going through in my mind a presentation that I, have planned to do. And the presentation is really around understanding how the mind works, understanding how vibration works, and understanding how you attract things. And I was going through that whole presentation, and it probably was like literally 30 minutes that I had this, and this vision of me giving this presentation was just so real. I was in that room. I was talking with people. I was giving examples. We were having dialogue. We were creating jokes and everything. It was as though I was in that room having that presentation. And I haven't even been invited to give that presentation yet, but I know that I will. I absolutely know that I will. And even in that room during that presentation, when people were just stunned at how amazing the presentation was, I said to them, I've done this 100 times before, and I probably have. So, we do part of setting that intention and attracting what we want is getting in vibrational harmony with that. So what does that mean? How do I know what the vibrational harmony is of whatever it is? How do I know what frequency they're operating on? Well, I'm going to put it this way, and this was one of the examples I gave in my vision when I was giving my seminar yesterday, is that, if you think in terms of a radio station, if there's a radio station that, that you tune into, and maybe it's a news station, it's a language that you're not familiar with, you're not really going to be in alignment with it. It's not going to jive, right? But if you turn on a radio station that maybe it was the songs that from when you were a teen and all the words and everything is familiar and you're up dancing, and in fact as you're singing along with the songs, you're remembering where you were when you heard them, you are completely in vibrational harmony with that, right? So not only are you tuned into that radio station and that you are getting the frequency super loud and clear, but yet also it's resonating with you, right? It's making you feel good. So when you're in vibrational harmony with something, you are naturally going to feel good. There's no resistance there. There's no antagonism. That's kind of how you tell if you're in harmony with something. So, when it comes to that goal that you want, it is about absolutely being clear, and it is about absolutely writing it down, but there's a little bit more to it. And the more to it is getting in that emotion of that goal. So like I was last night when I was giving that seminar, and honestly, I don't even realize, as I said, I think it may have been 30 minutes or something that I was going through that vision. I didn't set a clock or a timer, but all of a sudden I realized how much time had passed when I had gone through that process. I was absolutely in that room. I could tell you, I could tell you how many people were in the room, what the setup of the room was like. The person that I called on to have a bit of a dialogue and ask them questions, his name was Carl. So that's how real this vision was, right? That's the reality that you want to create in order to draw whatever that intention is to you. And I'm going to say, we always talk about goals, and people think goals of, I want that car, or I want that house, or I, want to be, have so much money in the bank or whatever. And those are, I guess, your, maybe your life goals or your strategic goals. But I want to build in, and one of the things that I talk about in the book, 50 Simple Ways to Release the Shackles of Self-Sabotage, is about not just goals, but intentions. So setting smaller intentions during the daytime sort of gets you in practice for getting those bigger goals of how to get in harmony. I think of in terms of getting a parking spot, getting a string of red, green lights when I'm driving, staying in tune to what the traffic pattern is to make sure that I'm going to take and, before I even go, just sort of see, envision, that I'm going to show up and I'm going to walk into people that to see people I know, and we're going to have a wonderful conversation, and I'm going to learn something, and I'm going to walk away going, wow, I'm so glad I went. All of this sort of stuff is rehearsed in advance. So I'm already living in that situation before it happens. And so you can practice by doing some small intentions. And I won't even, practice isn't even really a good word, because we want to live intentionally. So why not just make that our day to day, as we do. I have manifested, so many things, small and big. Probably the biggest financial goal that I've manifested is $1.2 million. And my goal card said that I was going to have it in my bank by a certain amount of time, or by a certain date. And it didn't come that year or the next year, but it did come the year after. And it was within 2 days of the date that I had written on my goal. Very recently, and I shared this story with a few people very recently, I manifested a buyer for a property in a very, very difficult market. And I didn't realize how difficult the market was and how many strikes I had against me until after the deal was signed. And everybody just kept saying, do you realize what just happened? Like, this is such a gift. So I think that, staying steadfast and being not just not just focused on the goal, but being emotionally involved. And when I told everybody sort of the story about me energetically on a daily basis, not just expecting that buyer to show up and that everything was going to go up, but I visualized like handing over the key. I visualized this individual just being ecstatic about taking over this property. They just felt like they won the lottery. Like I went through the whole emotion of that, and that's what's really key here. So that's what Neville Goddard's saying, don't chase after it, right? And that what Linda was talking about, the paradigm shift, is the same thing, is that we need to get over that feeling of that it's something external and it's something that we don't have capability over. So when you're in the trenches and you're doing your day-to-day and you're doing the behavior and the results don't seem to be coming, just keep going. Just keep going. That's what it takes. If your vision is clear and you're emotionally involved, believe that because everything is vibration, that you are attracting exactly what you need in order to fulfill that goal. The universe is conspiring on your behalf. Just have fun with it. Let it go. Don't worry. Just keep going. Okay? All right. I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful day. And as always, succeed deliberately.